Generics are a thing in many languages. It's a programming concept. They exist in Java as interfaces, and they exist in Rust now too. Rust. I've started to learn Rust recently, so I've noticed more of them. So I thought more people should know about these things, and if you don't, I am here to explain it to you. Alright, so let's think about a future where we have users, but their names are not only strings, they're also numbers. So let's think of a type user where there's a name, and now this name, usually as common sense thought, first of all I would think, alright, and this can be anything, so let's give it my name. But now when we go to console.log user.name and see what we have on the user.name, what methods we have these methods, but you can clearly see that this is a string, right? I should have all the to uppercase, length, all of those methods. Like if I had only string over here, I would have all of these methods, and I should have these methods. Why don't I have these methods? Because TypeScript doesn't know if it's a string or a number, so it just gives a bunch of random methods on it, because it's not sure that it's a string, it could be a number too. To solve this problem, I wish there was a way where I could tell the user type in particular cases. In these particular little cases, I want to be able to say that in this particular case, when I'm declaring the user object, the name is a string. Right here, the name is a string. It's not a number, it's a string. So, but how do I tell the user type? I want to write something over here to tell the user that it is a string. In this case, it's a string. As you know, in functions, we can take in inputs. This is how you take inputs, and then you do something with those inputs, right? Similarly, types can take inputs right here, but instead of brackets, we use angled brackets. Over here, you can take an input. This signifies an input that you can give this particular type over here. As I was saying earlier, I wish I could give it a type, it would apply to the name. I want any input that is given to the user type to be given to the name field. So I'll put T over here. This basically says that whenever I'm declaring a new variable, a new user, I want to be able to declare the type of the name field of the user variable. For example, if I'm declaring user, instead of just putting user type over here, I would also like to tell what the name in this user type will be, right? What will it be? Will it be a string? Will it be a number? What will it be? So I can tell it right here that it's going to be a string. And now when I put a number over here, it's going to give me an error, because we've told the user type that the name variable is going to be a string, which we have given it over here. So I have to give it a string, and now it's fine. However, if I give it a number, it would throw an error, because we are telling the user type that, hey, the name field needs to be a number, not a string. And when we do this, it's going to be fine, because now the type is satisfied. This is how a generic can be used this is the console.log hello world of generics. Alright, this is what it is. Now, another example of using generics in real life would be this. Imagine you have a store. Alright, you have a local store on your web application. Let's go over here. When I use this function, I want it to have recommendations over here for me. I don't want it to be empty like this is right now. I don't want this to be any. I want this to be each and every key in this type. So let's do that. Key of. But what will it be the key of, right? I want it to be the key of store. But I also want to use store with other types. I don't just want to use it with store. Imagine a function that only adds 1 and 2, right? I wouldn't want that function. I would want a function which adds any two numbers. I don't want a number that adds 1 and 2 all the time. So I can say, alright, this is going to be a key of store. Sure, this will work, but I don't want this. As I said, we don't want this function to only work for this particular type. It will work, sure, but I don't want that. Let's create a generic, because we want to take input in the type. Let's create a t generic, and then we can say key of t instead of key of store. So now when we give it a key of the store, we're telling it, alright, this input that we take over here will be each key in the particular type, which works right now: id, name, and token. So when you're using this in a React component, for example, you know that these are the only things available to me. If I say, alright, address is another one, which is a string, now I know that one of these things are available to me: address, name, token, everything. So that's another example. I hope you've understood it. Goodbye.